Chichi Rodriguez has earned 30 tour titles on the PGA and Senior PGA Tours, and we're still counting. He's one of golf's most versatile and courageous shot makers, one of the game's greatest and most creative entertainers. But he'll be remembered best and most loved for his gifts of time and commitment to young people who would have never known the game's pleasures if not for the generosity of heart and spirit of Chichi Rodriguez. He fought his way past the sugarcane fields of Puerto Rico, where he helped his father put food on the family table. He shot 67 as a 12-year-old and learned to use his gift of hand-eye coordination and his deeply developed work ethic to transform himself into a world-class player. He's won tournaments and hearts wherever the game is played. He's been honored for giving. He's been honored for playing. The Chichi Rodriguez Youth Foundation is his legacy that changes the future by introducing optimism and opportunity into the hearts of life's unchosen ones. Jack Nicklaus considers Chichi the game's finest ambassador of goodwill. He may only be 5'7" and 135 pounds, but it's 5'7" and 135 pounds of heart and goodness. Is an encore presentation of Golf Talk Live.
Welcome to Golf Talk Live. I'm Peter Kessler. Great pleasure and honor to introduce you to one of the really nice men in golf, one of its greatest shot makers, one of its nicest people, Chichi Rodriguez. What a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Peter, it's awfully nice being in your show. I really appreciate you invited me to it.
I think that people know what you have done for young people on an international basis. But I think what people don't know about you is what a great son you were to your parents. For your dad, for example, when he would come in the evening in Puerto Rico, you would take off his shoes, you would wash, and you would rub his feet for him, wouldn't you?
All the brothers and sisters, we did that. We had my father was a very poor man financially, but he was spiritually very, very wealthy. My father had the love of all the kids and the respect that he needed. And when he used to get from work, he worked sometimes 16 hours a day, sometimes 18 hours, never made over $18 a week. After 30 years, he never missed a day of work. He got a heart attack and the guy fired him. But we forgive. And my dad, when he used to come from work, all the kids we used to work, wait for him at the door like Amish people, you know? The respect and admiration for that man. He used to sit on his rocking chair. We'd take off his shoes. Well, not shoes, he wore boots. We'd pull the boots out, his socks. We'd get some hot water, put his feet in, get the soap, wash his feet. Another brother would dry him out, Julio. Jesus would massage him. My sister would cut his corners. I mean, all of us took care of our dad.
Now, he died relatively early in your playing career, 1963. What would he have thought of the man that you became?
He would have thought that I was doing what he would have liked to do had he had any money, because my daddy, my mother, they share everything that they have with the kids.
Your mom, her proudest moment, or perhaps your proudest moment, was when you won, I guess, the Denver Open in 1963 and were able to, for the first time, buy her a home out of your own pocket.
Yes, my mother was living in the Bronx in New York, and I thought that she was rich because all the Puerto Ricans used to go down there with nice suit and tie, you know, and some money, you know, and I thought I was naive, you know, and I was in the Army, and I came to see her in New York from Oklahoma. I came to spend 14 days with her. And when I got to her apartment, I said, Mother, where do you live? And she says, here. I said, you can't live here. I said, this is where I live, son. I said, I'm going back to Oklahoma tomorrow. She says, you came to spend Christmas and New Year's with me. I said, no, I'm going back. And she says, okay. I said, I'm going to go back and I'm going to practice golf so I can win a golf tournament someday and get you out of here. And I rode a train from Grand Central Station all the way to Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And when I got there, a guy that I used to caddy for named Jim Bissenbeck had sent me a set of clubs that I like. And every ball that I hit in that range, I was buying my mother that home. And when I won the Denver Open, I got $5,300. I got her out of the Bronx, and she went to Puerto Rico, and she lived the rest of her life very, very happy. Of course, my sisters and brothers, they chipped in, too, to help buy her that home.
You were not the only talented young man in Puerto Rico, but you were one of the few to make it out and become a world-class success. What does talent mean if you don't have the perseverance to back it up and make it happen? Well,
Peter, you have to have the right breaks in life. You know, I had all the good breaks. I work hard for them, but I had a lot of good breaks. There were guys, for example, we had a caddy called Carmelo Isales. Carmelo used to shoot in the 20s, playing 9 holes. I mean, he might have been as good a player as I ever saw. He could carry the ball over 300 yards in the air, and he would have been a cinch to make it as a big-name pro. And he went to Korea, and he got hurt. And Carmelo is probably living, I think, in San Diego now, and he's got to be about 72 years old. But when he came back, you know, he wasn't the same man. He got hurt in the war, so he couldn't play any more golf. He couldn't play good enough. But we have Jesus Carmona, Erasmo Carmona, who used to beat me all the time, and David Jimenez. Actually, I was not in the top 10 players of that club, but I persevere. You know, when they win, they take it easy. When I lost, I went and worked harder to try and beat them. And I never did beat them. I never won the caddy championships. Those guys were great, great players.
How important was it to your development as a player and to your hand-eye coordination that you were forced to not use golf clubs as a kid, but your first golf club was really the limb of a guava tree, was it not?
Yeah, I used to take the limb and put a pipe through it, you know, and then take a nail and nail it at the end. Then I take a tin can. They used to be made out of lead in those days. I take a lead ball and put it right on the can. Then I take a hammer and hammer it around, make it perfectly round. Then I go to the baseball park, and I play from home plate to second base. And I got so I could get that ball, can in 3 strokes from home plate to second base into a little hole. So sometimes it's better to be born the hard way, because when you're born the hard way like I was, and Lee Trevino and Arnold Palmer, you don't have anything to prove. When you're born with everything, you have to prove yourself all the time. That's why I think that Jack Nicklaus is so great, because he was born with it. He had to prove that he could do it. Jack had proved it throughout the year how great he is.
You know, we got to spend some time with Jack recently, and he was telling us off camera that the sport that he was really great at, forget golf, the one that he was really good at was baseball, that he was a switch-hitting catcher. And that was really your first love, too, and really the way you got your nickname, wasn't it?
Yeah, I used to idolize a guy when I was a kid. I watch, they talk about great ball players, but I watch a guy named Josh Gibson when I was a kid.
Sure.
Catcher. And I never saw a play like Josh Gibson. I think he hit like 974 home runs in the
Negro Leagues.
Afro-American League.
That's right.
He hit and he died when he was 34. But I played baseball with Roberto Clemente. You know, we had a manager. What a genius he was. Roberto Clemente, in Class A ball in Puerto Rico, was our pinch runner. And his name was David. And if he's watching the show, I want him to know that. What a genius he was. Roberto Clemente pinch running for Chichi Rodriguez. I mean, what a genius he was. And Roberto, of course, you know, is one of the greatest ball players of all time. I played with Orlando Cepeda. I played with Ramon Hernandez. You know, he used to be a relief pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I played with all those guys. And the older I get, I'm like Jack. I'm like Jack with baseball. The older I get, the better I used to be.
When a guy who got 3,000 hits like Roberto Clemente is your pinch runner, you must have been pretty good. No wonder you like baseball. We're going to take a very short break. We will be right back with Chi-Chi and you right after this. Don't go away.
What a time it was. The 1960s. Arnie and Jack, Gary, Billy. Chi-Chi still found a way to win against four of the greatest to ever play the game. He found a way to become a brilliant stroke player. He played wedges as well as anyone of his era. His bunker play was sensational. He turned fives into fours and fours into threes with stunning regularity. He also provided a needed sense of levity, of entertainment, of showmanship. He always found a way in life to get it done, even against Arnie and Jack and Gary and Billy.
Your comments about Roberto Clemente and Josh Gibson made me think during the break that in the very early 60s, and of course you joined the tour in 60, was the time that Charlie Sifford broke the Caucasian-only code in 1962. What was your reaction, given where you came from, to that whole time and what Charlie was trying to do?
Well, I never, in Puerto Rico, we don't have any problem. We're all the same. People are people. So I never knew what it meant to. I was a PGA member. I don't know why I was a PGA member. I'm a Puerto Rican. But I didn't know. I didn't know what racism was. I really don't. I went in the Army when I was 19. I never knew that stuff like that happened. I was brought up where everybody was the same. So, but I think Charlie Sifford is the biggest legend that golf ever had.
Why?
Well, how would you like to spend all your life accomplishing great things like he did? And the biggest thrill that any professional can have is to play the Masters. I would love to play the Masters one more time. I'm not going to qualify for it. But Charlie never played the Masters. He never walked those fairways like Tiger Woods and Lee Elder did, and other players, African Americans. Charlie never walked those fairways. Man, and to walk the fairways at Augusta is one of the greatest thrills. It's like hitting a Grand Slam. It's like watching Babe Ruth hit. Babe Ruth was my idol. I mean, Babe Ruth could hit, man. Babe Ruth, one year hit more home runs than any team in the league. They talk about great hitters, Ted Williams and all these guys. Babe Ruth was the greatest hitter of all time, 342 lifetime batting average. And Charlie would have felt just like Babe Ruth felt when he told that kid in that hospital, kid, put the radio on, turn the game on, I'm going to hit this ball over. That kid was very sick, Babe Ruth says, I'm going to hit it out for you. And he pointed out, and he gave the pitcher 2 strikes. I still cry when I see that scene. And then he pointed out, and he hit the ball out, and that kid got well.
Is Arnold Palmer the Babe Ruth of golf?
Arnold Palmer is more than that. Arnold Palmer is the king of golf. Arnold Palmer was the Rocky Marciano of golf. Rocky came into boxing, and made it a really interesting thing. Muhammad Ali came in and really gave it a lift. Arnold Palmer is everybody that plays golf and makes all the money that they make now should kiss the footsteps of Arnold Palmer, because Arnie was the man that brought up the purses. Him and Dean Beeman. Dean Beeman, some of the pros talk bad about Dean Beeman. Dean Beeman did more for golf besides Arnold Palmer than anybody.
Let's go ahead and talk to Vito in New York. Hello, Vito.
Hiya, Peter. How are you?
Very well, sir. And you?
So glad I got through.
So glad you got through, too, then.
Chi-Chi, hi. How are you?
Buonasera, Vito.
Chi-Chi, we were at the Northville this year. I don't know if you should remember. My son, Steven, met you on the 7th green. He's physically challenged. He's missing a left hand. And you said, meet us at the tent after the round. And we met you there amongst all the kids, and we looked at you. You saw my son, you autographed your glove that you were wearing, and you gave it to him. I just can't tell you how much that made his day. And my little son plays golf all the time. Hits the ball 150 yards. I wish I could hit it as straight as he does. And I just want to tell you what a great inspiration you are. And he's right here. He's 9 years old, and he wants to thank you. And I'm just so glad I was able to get through to you.
Thank you, Vito. And
Do you remember, Cheech? I know you see thousands of kids, and you're so helpful, but it was at the Northville here on Long Island.
Well, Vito, I usually don't remember stuff that I do, but I'm going to tell you something. I gave that kid my glove.
Yep.
But that kid gave me his heart. That's a great trait for me.
Oh man, can I have him thank you? He's right here.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Please
Peter.
do.
Hold on, Cheech.
Thank you, Chi-Chi.
What's your name?
Steven.
How you doing, Stephen?
Good.
What do you think of Chi-Chi?
He's great.
Go ahead, Chi-Chi.
Steve, I love you, and you're a good young man, and I'm very proud of you. And remember, in Italian, buona fortuna, paesano.
Tell him a little bit about overcoming the hardships of life, that everybody doesn't get everything to begin with, he included. What kind of attitude do you need to persevere, to overcome life's obstacles, Chi-Chi?
Well, I believe that that when you're born with nothing, you work harder. And when you work harder, you become stronger. See? Life is funny. When you're poor and you can afford no food, you eat all the food you can. Then you finally can afford food, and then they put you in diets. They tell you not to eat that. Food is bad for you. Well, the same thing happens with life. You work harder, you relax about it, and give it your best shot. Because I tell you, if you give it your best shot, you will never lose in anything that you do. You're a loser when you give up. Somebody else might beat you because they might do better, but you never lose. Give it your best shot. Go to school, get a diploma. They can take away your citizenship, they can take away your dignity, they can take away your money, they can never take away your diploma. Go to school, and I'll see you in Long Island next year. I'll be there.
As we leave for a moment, let's take a look at something that sometimes you do have and sometimes you don't have, which is your putting stroke. We'll go ahead and see what Jack Nicklaus had to say to you many years ago as you took a lesson from him. We'll take a look at that as we leave you for just a moment.
Well, don't you think this should be over a little bit more this way, and this should be under a little bit more this way? Not much better? Huh?
You know one thing, it makes you keep your elbows together.
Yeah, that's no
I
question.
think it's a good idea, but
Of course, you got to have your knees together, too.
Cheech, with my left eye, right?
Chi-Chi, I think you're ready.
They're just calling you to the first tee. Oh, thank you, Jack. Thank you very much. Good luck to you.
Welcome back to Golf Talk Live. We're on our Academy Live set because one of the greatest short game players in the history of the game happens to be with us tonight. And by the way, I was remiss in not wishing you a happy, healthy birthday, sir.
Thank you, Peter.
Tell me what you think about, because us recreational players clearly are thinking the wrong things over partial shots inside of 100 yards with your pitching wedge.
Well, first of all, Peter, 70% of all shots hit in golf are hit from 100 yards in. Those are the shots that people don't practice. So I practiced, when I was a young man, I used to practice from 100 yards in 3-4 hours every day until my hands bled. So what you need to do in wedge shots, like this is a wedge shot, if I'm going to hit this ball, say 50 yards, I put all my weight on my left side. See, because if you have your weight on your left side, you want to hit down with this club. If you got it on your right side, so chances are you're going to hit up, and then you're going to kind of half tap or tap the ball. So to hit down, it's easier to pick the club up and to hit down on the ball like that. The loft of the club brings the ball up. You should always expect to get the ball up and down or in 2 strokes, 2 shots from 100 yards in. If you can do that, say 50% of the times, you're going to break par most of the times.
Most of the recreational golfers that you play with don't get it up and down inside of 100 yards in 2 shots. What are we doing in terms of making mistakes in either our thinking or in our feel or mechanics with regard to those shots?
The normal amateur, they don't practice those shots because the pros don't either, because it's very boring. The pros all want to see, especially when you're young, you have all the young ladies sitting on the bleachers and you want them to see all this. You know, they want that finish and all that. Well, you hit a 300-yard drive and you hit a 25-yard shot, they count the same. You must practice both. So I believe what amateurs should do is, instead of going and rushing and hitting a bucket of balls, they all go over there. I had an amateur one time that I was giving him a lesson. He had 3 balls up in the air one time, and he says, "What am I doing wrong?" I mean, he's rushing. They rush. You got to take your time and go and practice from 100 yards in. Practice if you want to spin the ball a lot, grip the club a little harder, swing it a little shorter and a little quicker. If you want to lab it and hit it high and soft, then you soften your grip, you take a longer swing, and you take a slower stroke, and the ball gets up in the air.
Let's go ahead and see what Keith in North Carolina wants to ask you about. Hello, Keith.
Hi, how you doing?
Very well, sir.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Chi-Chi.
Hello, Keith.
How you doing?
Terrific, thank you.
Good. Do you think the equipment has really overpowered the golf courses that are out now? And what have you done to change your game? And yeah, like I said, I have trouble with that 80-yard shot. I can't hit an 80-yard wedge.
Well,
100-yard wedge, I'm fine.
Well, Keith, what you should do is, first of all, the equipment has gotten better and better. The golf balls are so much better. They go so much further. They have really made a lot of golf courses obsolete. But what you should do is you should see your PGA pro, first of all, instead of working it by yourself. If you're having a lot of trouble with that, go and take some lessons. Get you a club with a lot of loft that you can, maybe a 60-degree, where you can hit down on the ball, and make sure that you keep all that weight on the left foot. And try to keep your nose on front of the ball, towards the target, not behind it, okay? Because the more behind it you have it, the more weight on your right foot you're gonna have. The more on front, the more the left shoulder falls, and the more weight you're gonna have on that left foot, and that's the secret of that shot. It's like any trap shot you have around the greens, you should always have 100% of your weight on your left foot.
Hudson, what secret do you want Chi-Chi to lay out for you tonight?
Hello?
Hello, Hudson.
Yes, Chi-Chi. I just want to tell you that it's a great pleasure to be talking to you right now. And I'm from Brazil. I'm into soccer a lot. And I just got into the golf into like 5 months ago. And my mother-in-law came the other day to visit me. And I told her I was into golf, and she goes, "Oh, you know, your second cousin is a golfer?" I said, "Who's my second cousin?" She goes, "Oh, Chi-Chi Rodriguez." And from that point on, I'm just like watching you and trying to follow as much as I can and learn as much as I can from you. And my wife got in the house the other day, and I was like playing with the potter, and she goes, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Oh, it's Chi-Chi Rodriguez. It's your second cousin." I was like, "Whoa." I just want to let you know how great it is, and try to learn as much as I can from you, and hope to meet you one day.
Well, how old are you, Hudson?
I'm 29.
Well, maybe you're my cousin. You know, I don't know. Maybe we're second cousin. I love Brazil, by the way.
Thanks.
Especially the people in São Paulo are beautiful. Obrigado.
Yeah,
Obrigado.
right, de nada.
De nada. Now that Pele, what a great athlete. I mean, what Pele did was more than hitting 1,000 home runs in the major leagues. You know, very few people know that. But if you want to become a good player, what you do is you follow the example of good players. You know, my father used to say, if you stick with winners, you become a winner. If you stick with pigs, you start to smell bad. So you go ahead and you watch the Arnold Palmers and the Jack Nicklaus, the Tiger Woods, the Davis Love, watch their swing and try to imitate them. See, that's what I used to do. I used to watch Sam Snead a lot because I kind of idolized Sam Snead. And of course Arnold and Jack, but they're more like my age. Sam was the statesman, and I used to watch that swing, man, and Sam Snead reminded me of Michelangelo. I never saw a swing that beautiful in my life. He looked like Fred Astaire dancing. If you want to learn how to dance, you watch Fred Astaire. You want to learn how to play golf, you watch Sam Snead.
Now, normally, Chi-Chi, in this building, if you want to do something with a sword, that's always left to my boss, Michael J. Whalen, the acknowledged sword expert. But he's given me permission tonight as we go to break to see if I could take you on for just a second here.
Well, let me tell you, there's some art about doing the sword. A lot of people.
I've been working on it.
See, you got to put your thumb here when you put it down and try to hold it, because see, if you have it loose, a lot of people break their thumbs. So you got to have that thumb there, and you grab it before he hits.
Got the thumb, Zorro.
And you got to put it forward. See, Trevino puts it here where the bull is going to get him, because he got this sword. The sword goes there. Okay, so now let's do the sword.
Okay, now as we go to break, I'll take Chi-Chi out, and we'll be right back.
Oh.
After this, don't go away. Welcome back to Golf Talk Live. We now have a cavalcade of stars with us. We are joined by Terica Tucker and Herman Anderson, both of whom spend quite a bit of time at the Chi-Chi Rodriguez Youth Foundation. Nice to have you both here. I understand you're quite a player. Tell me about it. Come on, tell me.
I hit the ball 260, and...
With every club?
No.
Just the driver?
Yes.
And what are you scoring?
My handicap is 9, and my home course is Chi-Chi's, and I shoot about 70, 74, 75.
That's pretty good. That's a lot better than your handicap. I may take you as a partner. You play golf too?
Yes, a little bit.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I play at the McMullen Booth course on 2 days a week and sometimes on Saturdays on the apprenticeship team.
Tell me a little bit about why the Chi-Chi Rodriguez Youth Foundation is important to you, Terica.
Well, it's important to me because the the foundation has helped me a lot, because probably if I wasn't in a foundation, I probably would get in a lot of trouble. I would be hanging around with the wrong kind of people, and I get to do a lot of different things that I don't think I would be able to do.
Were you in trouble before you found the foundation, Herman?
Kinda.
A little bit?
Yes.
What has this meant to you in terms of giving you a little bit of a feel about how good life can be?
You get to meet a lot of people and go a lot of places and stay out of trouble.
What do your friends who aren't a part of the foundation think about what the two of you are doing, and do they want to join too?
A lot of my friends ask me to bring home applications every day, and they're always bugging me, bring home an application so I can join the foundation.
What do you think about Mr. Rodriguez?
I think he's a very generous man, and he's done a lot. He's done a lot for me. He's just real nice.
If you hadn't found the foundation, Herman, what do you suppose would be going on in your life right now?
A lot of trouble, bad grades in school, and...
Why is this making such a difference? Why does the existence of the foundation make such a difference? It has to be more than that. It has to be what happens when you're there, the kind of people that you get to talk to, the kind of people who let you know that they care about you, right?
Yes.
Can you share that with me a little bit? I'm looking at you. What are you looking at her for? You're not going to let you off the hook. Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me the feeling that you get inside your body when the people at the foundation spend time with you and try to help you with your golf game, try to help you with your thinking, try to help you with moving forward in your life. What does it feel like?
Love to me.
And who are the people that bring this love to you?
My golf teacher, Mr. Vincent, and teachers at Chi-Chi's at the lodge, and Mrs. H.
What kind of a difference would you tell? How old are you?
12.
12? Me too. I'm almost 13. What would you tell people, other 12-year-olds around the country, about making changes in their life? Now, not everybody's going to have access to the Chi-Chi Rodriguez Youth Foundation, but you have access to other things, and you have your heart, and you have your head, and most people have someone they can talk to. How do you get back on the right foot?
Well, just make sure if you have a problem, the person that really, find someone that really gonna listen to you and make sure they listen to all your problems and they're gonna help you. And just make sure you try and listen to everything they tell you to do and don't go off and do the opposite.
Chi-Chi, what do these young people mean to you who are unique in their own right, but also representative of the kind of young people whose lives you're making a difference in?
Well, you know, the kids are the future. And behind the success or failure of a kid, there's always an adult. I want to see these kids not only to be good golfers. I want to see them be taxpayers instead of tax burdens. I want them to see them be the executives instead of the felons. And the only way they can do it, you know, Herman is a very, very talented young man with the golf clubs. He says he's a 9 handicap, but he breaks par quite often. It's a ball about 260 yards. But my dream of my life is that these young people go to college and graduate so they can take our places in society. I want one of my kids someday to become President of the United States of America. And the sky's the limit. You can do it. If I did it, anybody can do it.
Let's go ahead and see what Dave wants to ask them. Go ahead, Dave.
How you doing tonight, fellas?
And we're doing terrific.
Good. Juan, I followed the careers of a couple fellows over the years, Tom Kite and Juan Rodriguez. So my questions aren't so much about your titles. I remember watching pretty much all your titles. Number one, on the foundation on the West Coast, could you give us a little bit more information about, is it during the summer or is it overnight for the kids?
Dave, this foundation is open every day for the kids. Our school, you know, our school is open mostly in the wintertime, the same days as others. Mm-hmm. But I have a very interesting stat about our school. You know, they did a survey in all the public schools in the United States, and my kids in my school did better in mathematics than any other public school in the United States.
Fantastic.
And we also did better in English.
Uh-huh. Fantastic.
And the main thing that we try to work with these kids is to give them the confidence and the self-esteem that they need to be there when they need a pat in the shoulder, to give it to them. And when they need a little push to do better, to give it to them too. And to teach them to love and respect of the elder and their teachers. And all I get out of this is self-satisfaction. I'm very proud to be part of this foundation. I think that God picks his people to do his work, and God has picked me to do his work, and that's what I'm doing.
We're going to take a very short break, and as we leave just for a minute, we'll see on the screen right above you some of the things that Chi-Chi has done on the golf course. You know him very well off the golf course. He didn't do so bad on it either. We're going to take a very short break. We will be right back. Don't go away. Every week on Golf Talk Live, you have the opportunity to email a question to our guest, and tonight for our guests. And the question is from Joe Gibson in Atlanta, Georgia. What lessons in life, as opposed to golf, does your youth foundation teach? Now, before I let you answer that, I'm going to let you answer that. If you could list 2 or 3 things that you've really learned about being the best you that you can be, what would that be?
Well, you have to be responsible, and you have to tell the truth about everything. So
Not
you
so
have to
easy
be honest.
sometimes.
No.
What happens when you don't tell the truth now? What does it feel like?
You're really only hurting yourself. You're not hurting anyone else, but you're hurting yourself, so it's not getting you anywhere.
Herman, what would you say are the best lessons that you've learned that don't have anything to do with golf?
Respecting your elders and
That's a pretty good start. What are the lessons, Chi-Chi, that you would like them to be learning?
Well, first of all, in my foundation, you know, we started our foundation with 2 kids, an old car,
An old car.
and $1,000. We do 150 kids a day. The thing that we teach them the most is that, first of all, in the morning, we have a silent prayer. The kids pray. It's not a sin to pray. And they can pray in any way they want. They believe, if they're Islamic or Christian or whatever religion, Buddhist or Yiddish or, you know, whatever they are. They close their eyes and they pray. That's beautiful for the kids to start the whole day with a pray. And they pledge allegiance to the flag. They have to learn respect to the flag of America, of this great country. And they have to learn to respect the elder. They respect the country. They have their dignity. Let nobody take their dignity away from them. Self-esteem. They have to have self-esteem. They have to know that whatever they get is not going to come from the sky. They have to work and go get it. And that's one of the things that we do in my foundation. When the kids work, we pay them. We dress them. We feed them. We have a 99% success of all the kids, 99% attendance in our school. No other school has that. And you can see how clean these kids look. That one there looked like a little bit like Tiger Woods. He's ready.
He looked like he'd be happier if he was hitting balls on the range, quite frankly, Chi-Chi, and getting a little dirty, wouldn't you, Herman?
yes.
Right, I could tell.
And look
Don't
at
you
the
worry.
happiness. Look at the happiness in their faces. That's what life is all about. We have to do a lot for the youth because it's very tough to be a kid nowadays. You know, they have a lot of things that we didn't have when we were kids. You know, when I was a kid, my father used to say at 7 o'clock at night, he said, lights are going out. And you didn't dare lose respect for your dad. When he said the lights were going out at 7, it didn't mean 7:05. It meant 7. You be in bed. And he says, now we get up when the rooster starts singing. That's when we get up. And at 4 o'clock, those roosters started singing. That's when we got up.
There are nights I could use your dad in our house. Nobody listens to that 7 o'clock thing. Let's go ahead and talk to Andy in New Jersey. Hello, Andy.
Hey, Chi-Chi, how you doing?
Hi, Andy. How are you?
I don't think you remember me, but I worked at the lovely Windermere Country Club in Naples for Tim Miller for 2 years. And I know you did a lot of work down in Florida for Youth Haven. Are you still continuing with Youth Haven and the great Chi-Chi Day they have in February?
Absolutely, Andy. We will always be working. Once I get involved with the program, you know, that stuff of just working in the community, the whole world with kids is my community. So I just went to Bangkok and I did a job there for kids. And I went to Indonesia and I did a job there. I went to Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico, and I'm going there again in November doing things for kids. So any corner of the world that any kid has a problem, I'm going to do it. And in Naples, yeah, I'm very involved with Youth Haven. That's one of the reasons why I love Jimmy Carter so much. I tell you what, Jimmy Carter is one of the greatest men that ever lived. And I don't get in politics because politics and sports don't mix. But this man helped build homes for the poor with Habitat. I love that man. And someday, one of the dreams of my life is to meet Jimmy Carter and have lunch with him or have breakfast or whatever and look at him in the eye and see what I saw in him that I saw in Mother Teresa when I looked at her eyes. I never seen eyes like hers in my life.
Let me ask you both a couple of questions before we let you go. What do you want to be as you get older? What do you want to do with your life?
I want to be a pediatrician. I want to be able to help little babies.
I love that. What about you, Herman?
Professional golfer.
And let me ask Herman one more question. Herman, you going to be happy when the show's over?
Yes.
I'll bet you are. We're going to let both of you go. I want to thank you so much for being here tonight and sharing what your lives are about and what Chi-Chi has meant to your lives. Thank you very much. Stay 1 second before you get up. We will take a short break, and as we leave you, we will give you the Youth Foundation telephone number. If you're interested, please make a donation. If you're interested and want information, please give a call. We will be right back. Don't go away. know, meeting Herman and Tarika reminds me of the story about you when you first became a caddy and instantly, as a little boy, organized the first caddy strike. Tell me about that.
Well, you know, they were paying us 10 cents for 18 holes. And I mean, 10 cents was not enough for 4 hours of work or 5 hours. And we got organized, and the caddy says, well, maybe the members won't give us the race. I said, well, we walk the fence, we walk the line. We let them carry their bags, and after 3 or 4 holes, they're going to call us back and give us the 25 cents. And that's what we did, and they gave us the 25 cents. And 6 months later, I told them, I said, 25 is not enough. 25 cents is not enough. Well, now we're going to go for 35 cents. And we did the same thing, and they went to 35 cents. And by the time I left the Berwyn Country Club, we were making $1.70 for 18 holes caddying. I went in the Army then, and I was making $56 a month. That was a lot more money. But yeah, it was. I don't hold against people that didn't treat people right years ago. I do it now because those were the days that we lived. Now times have changed. This is almost year 2000. Times have changed. It's time to have compassion for the poor and the needy, and the people that have should share more. Let me tell you something, Peter. You can be materially very, very rich, but you can be spiritually very, very poor. And to me, Mother Teresa was my idol, and she never had anything, but she had everything. I think she was the richest person in the world.
You say that God picked you to spread a message. What specific message have you been chosen to spread?
Well, I don't talk much about it because people think you're crazy when you talk about God. But I've seen him a couple times. I spoke with him.
What did he say?
He picked me.
What does he want you to do?
I can't talk about it too much because I break down.
Tell me a little bit.
He told me he picked me to do his work.
What is God's work, Cheech? What is his work? What does he want you to do?
All good things for everybody.
You're crying because you're happy about it, or because you feel that you haven't done it?
I don't know why I cry.
And I'm not sure that it matters, as long as you feel, right?
Every time I talk about it, I cry.
Don't cry. Let's go ahead and lighten this up. We will talk to one of our viewers who wants to ask you something silly that'll make us laugh. Let's see what Al in Arizona has. This better be good, Al.
Chichi, what an honor to speak to you, sir.
Nice talking to you, Al.
Thank you. About 5 years ago, I heard you tell a story about your father and a bunch of bananas and a rather large knife when you were living as a youngster. The gentleman came across through the backyard to get the bananas instead of the front door.
Yeah, Al, well, he was ready to steal our bananas. And my daddy took me back with him. I probably was about 8 years old, and my daddy turned the light on, and he had his machete in his hand, and my daddy asked him, he said, what are you doing there? It must have been 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and he says, well, it looked like it was going to rain, so I was under the house, and my daddy was a very, very intelligent man, and he looked at the sky, and there wasn't a cloud up there, only stars. And he went down that stairway, and he asked him to give him his machete, and I figured my daddy's going to whip him with the machete, you know, teach him a lesson. Instead, he went over and he cut the banana bunch in half, and he told him, he gave it to him and gave him his machete back. He said, from now on, if you want anything from behind my house, you come through the front door. Take half of it. Just make sure you leave enough for my kids.
That's a good lesson, isn't it?
That was a beautiful anecdote. That was incredible.
We're going to take a very short break. We will come back. We will spend a couple more minutes with Chi-Chi right after this. Don't go away. We've talked a lot about the rewards that have come to you, the psychic income that has come to you because of your work off of the golf course. One of the greatest awards and rewards that one can receive about the business of golf and about the business of being a great human being around the game is the receiving of the Bob Jones Award, perhaps golf's highest honor. What did it mean to you to receive the award, given all it encompasses in terms of sportsmanship and spirit and camaraderie?
Peter, that is great, a great award. I had a lot of awards as a golfer and as a human being in my life, but I have an award in my house. It's a little trophy with the Puerto Rican flag. I had the guys that I grew up with that caddied with me when I became a touring pro, and I won a few tournaments. They had a little party in a little place in New York, and they honored me, and they gave me that little plaque. That's my favorite.
Well, I'll tell you, you have created tonight in our hearts a special place where we will keep the things that you are and the things that you're doing very close to us. Thanks for sharing your life with us. Thanks for sharing your tears with us.
Thank you, Peter, and God bless you, and God bless everybody.
See you very soon, right here on Golf Talk Live. Good night, everybody.
You're watching the Golf Channel.